Okay, hi guys. So what we're going to look at today, I was going to look at some of the considerations you want to look at, or what goes into picking a decent chair for either your home office or at work, because sitting with bad posture is probably the single most common aggravator that I know of for people who've already either got existing disc injuries and back problems, or for people starting to develop back issues. Basically because we spend so much of modern life sat down, either at home, in the car, or at work, or in the home office. So what I've got here, I've got two different chairs, two different price ranges, and I'm going to show you the kind of the things that I think are important in terms of a good chair, which doesn't always come down to price or features. So I've got this chair here, which is like in the $400 to $500 range. It's kind of middle of the market, I guess, for most people in terms of office chairs. A fairly common sort of setup that we've seen in a lot of offices, sort of these days. And then here we've got the cheap and cheerful $80 special from, I think it was from Officeworks. And I'm going to show you why I think this cheaper chair is actually better than this more expensive one. So looking at the more expensive chair, first of all, there's two big problems with this chair that I don't like. So number one, I'm never a big fan of, especially for men, any chairs that have these kind of just useless arm supports. A, because I don't really do anything, and B, they kind of tend to encourage you to kind of come a little bit too far away from the desk and kind of put your back at risk anyway. But more importantly than that, a little bit like economy chairs on aeroplanes, they're kind of forcing your legs straight, and that instantly for me, because I can't spread my legs wide enough, kind of forces me into a horrible kind of rounded position. And already I can feel my back's going to be a little bit angry if I spent a few hours sat in this. The other problem I've got, if I turn around to the side, is that the lumbar support on this chair, although it looks kind of good, is utterly useless. Even if I try and adjust it and kind of fiddle around with it, it's got this kind of weird tendency. It kind of goes back too far, and the shape of it's kind of pushing me to kind of just slide off the chair like that. So I kind of get to this position, and when I do that, my lower back isn't actually supported by a lumbar support. So at best, it's useless, and at worst, I'm going to have to keep kind of pulling myself upright every few minutes, and then just using my back to hold me upright, which is not a good long-term strategy, because if you use your back muscles to hold you up all day, eventually they're going to get tired. Either they'll get stiff, or they'll just you'll end up kind of slouching and kind of getting back into a bad position, which will aggravate the discs anyway. So not a fan of this chair at all, despite its price tag and its various levers and features and all the bits and pieces that do nothing. Then we've got the cheap and cheerful $80 special from Officeworks. There's two things which I like about this chair. So number one is that without the armrests, the useless armrests, I can sit nice and wide with my legs. And when I sit nice and wide, there's two things. One, putting my legs out wide like that kind of puts my glutes and the pelvis in a nice, safe, strong position to kind of want to hold my back, my lower back into a nice natural arch without me having to try and hold it myself. The other thing is that the way the lumbar support's arranged is actually part of the chair. Although it's got a little bit of give, it won't completely buckle back and just let me slide off the chair. So actually, when I'm in this position, I actually feel pretty good. And if you look, I can get my shoulders just behind my hips. So the actual chair, although it's got quite a cheap mesh backing, the actual chair itself is carrying the weight of my back and upper body, so I don't have to do it. And that's kind of the key, to long term if you're having to sit, is A, you want to have half decent lumbar support, and then B, actually have the back of the chair take the weight of your posture, so you don't have to think about it. And you can just keep the back kind of relaxed. The back muscles relaxed, but the actual position of your back's good. Reason for that being is that if you've got a weird chair like this one, which is, if I'm honest, crap, and you've got to keep adjusting yourself and keep holding yourself upright on your own. It's a bit like if I told you to hold your right arm up at work all day, the muscles in your shoulder get stiff and tired, and it's going to start to cramp and just basically be generally unpleasant. It's the same for your back, although you don't realise it. When you've got a bad chair, either you're slouching and compressing your discs, which is going to give you, disc degeneration or herniation, or if you do manage to get your back straight, but for using your muscles, they're going to get kind of tired and start to cramp and get all tight and aggravated. So when it comes to chairs, Don't be fooled by kind of price or features. Best thing you do, as I did with when I found this one, just go into the store, and I just went up and down the aisle, tried every single one, and found the one that fitted me best. And ironically enough, I think it was probably the cheapest, if not the second cheapest one that they had. Sat in it, felt good, and I can sit this for a couple of hours, and the back's nice and happy. So best things, always go into chairs. Don't be fooled by the sales pitches with lumbar support, this, that and the other. Go and try it, sit it for a few minutes, compare it to a few others, and see what fits you best.